Well, Donald Trump announced his presidency last night, as you've probably heard, and I thought I'd begin the show with his address, and we will still talk about it, of course, but there was another speech yesterday, one with far less significant political implications, but which reflects the state of our society in a way that few speeches ever have or could, and needless to say, not in a good way. So an as yet unnamed woman and a self-professed black supremacist, quote unquote, recently posted a video to TikTok of, as she says, the eulogy that she gave her father at his funeral. The eulogy went viral on TikTok before making its way over to Twitter on Tuesday and then out into the mainstream media outlets who are reporting on it now, which is how the pipeline usually works. Now, her father apparently died of liver cancer, which is something that I only know because she also posted TikToks joking about her father's cancer. How and why would you make jokes about your own father's terminal cancer? What sort of person would do such a thing? Well, this sort of person, actually.
But Dad, please know that while I am grateful and highly aware of all that you've given this family, I still don't miss you. When you died, I felt like there was a hole. I missed something, but it wasn't you. It was the idea of what you could become. I missed being able to hope and wish that one day you turn a corner and see the world from my perspective. I missed the idea that one day you might help me fight for the things that matter. I missed my fantasy of you. Because when you died, it solidified the fact that you'll never be what you could have been, but only what you are. And what you are is a racist, misogynistic, xenophobic, Trump-loving, cis-straight white man. That is all you will ever be to me. And Dad, before you tell me to respect the dead, please remember that you disrespected and disregarded the lives and deaths of entire communities of people with your ideology. You told me to never back down, so I won't. You know for a fact that even against you, I'm not afraid to share my peace. You are everything I aspire not to be, and I refuse to stand up here and sing the praises of a man who is the paradigm of white supremacy. So I'll take your racist mindset, I'll take your money, and I'll take your advice. And I swear to God I will make this world a better place. Not at all because of you, but in exact opposition to you. Thank you.
I'll take your money, she says. And I bet she will. Now, it's hard to know who to despise more, the woman spitting on her own father's grave or the people in the audience applauding it. I suppose we need not choose one or the other. Now, we should acknowledge from the outset that not every person who dies necessarily deserves to be mourned. You don't become a good person just because you happen to die. Some of us have been to funerals where the eulogies are conspicuously brief because there isn't much good to say about the deceased. And that's just the reality. I mean, if you don't live as a good person, then people are not required to pretend otherwise after you die. And if you, let's say, abused or neglected your children, then they are under no obligation to sing your praises upon your death. Yet we can reasonably assume that such was not the case in this particular instance. She doesn't indict him for being abusive or neglectful. Quite the opposite. She actually acknowledges that he loved and served his family. Rather, her charge against her father is that he was a white, straight, cisgender Trump supporter. She is half his race, but it's the half she hates. And most of all, as she makes clear, she hates him for not agreeing with her. In fact, her love for him was predicated on her hope and her assumption that eventually he would think exactly as she thinks. Her love was conditional, which is to say that the love never existed at all. And the condition is that those she loves must be perfect mirror reflections of her own viewpoints. But death tragically interceded before her father could realize that she was right about everything, and for that she hates him and can never forgive him. Now, if this incident had occurred in a vacuum, if it was entirely anomalous, then there might not be much worth saying about it. This woman would simply be an ungrateful brat with a wicked, evil heart who will not even have the honor of being insulted at her funeral because she'll die alone and forgotten, and there'll be no one there to insult her in the first place. That is what we might say and leave it at that if this was a freak occurrence, a total departure from the norm. But it's not. I mean, sure, yeah, it's not every day that we see someone recite demeaning slam poetry about their own father at his funeral, but this is still fully in line with the spirit of the age. In fact, there's perhaps no better manifestation of the spirit of the age than a biracial woman lecturing her white dad at his funeral. This is literally what the left wants. It's not an accident. It is rather the direct result of the cultural revolution that has long since been completed and which we are now on the other side of. You know, established titles is your opportunity to earn the title of Lord or Lady and gain the respect that you so richly deserve. All you need is a 1 square foot plot of land in Scotland. Established titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lairds or lords and ladies in English. In your title pack, you'll be bestowed with at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Edelston, Scotland, plus an official certificate, which I have here with a crest. Your certificate features a unique plot number with which you can see the exact location of your land. Title packs from Established Titles are a fun and unique gift for any occasion. There are even couple packs that come with adjoining plots of land for that special someone in your life. With your certificate, you could officially add the prefix of Lord or Lady to your credit cards, your plane tickets, and even your dating profile. Established Titles commits to preserving the woodlands, not only in Scotland, but around the planet. A tree is planted for every order they receive, and you probably know this about me. That was a really important part of this deal for me. Established Titles told me that the first 200 people to purchase a title pack using my exclusive link will receive a plot within walking distance of mine. Depending on how many people sign up, we could build our own kingdom even. We're taking over the globe. Established Titles is also running a huge sale right now, and if you use code Walsh at checkout, you'll get an additional 10% off. Go to establishedtitles.com/Walsh to get your gifts now and help support the channel. So there are 3 ideas or attitudes that our culture seeks to instill in everyone, but especially in the young. And all 3 are manifested in that video. First, of course, there's narcissism, right? Everything's about you. And whatever's not about you should be made to be about you. The first thing you should think when you encounter any situation is, how can I put myself at the center of it? And if you encounter any resistance in this effort to put yourself at the center, then you're being oppressed. Indeed, anyone who lives a life or who does anything or says anything or thinks anything that departs from your preferences has persecuted you. For this woman, her father's funeral is about her because his death is about her because his life was about her. It was his job to think and behave as she demanded. By failing to do so, by failing to succumb to the force of her gravity and revolve around her as she insists, he was guilty of an unthinkable crime. Right? If she is not the center, then she is being erased. Either she is the star of every film or else she doesn't exist. There is no middle ground. This is the lesson she learned from the culture, from the school system, the media, from every institution. Loud and clear. Second, there is dehumanization. Those who disagree with you, who have opinions that are not your own and values you object to, are not simply wrong. They are subhuman. You shouldn't merely disagree with them. You should despise them. They're not worthy of respect or even life itself. This is a message that I hear every time I visit my inbox. I'm informed that I'm a racist, xenophobic, transphobic, etc., and therefore I should die and my family should die. And whenever I do die, I am told there will be celebration in the streets. I don't doubt it either. See, we make a mistake when we assume that all of this kind of talk is just sort of meaningless internet trolling. And it might be trolling, but it also reflects what is actually in the hearts of millions of people. Like when you're online and you say your opinion and you've got 36 people telling you to kill yourself for your opinion. It's not real. That's not the real world. No, it's real. I mean, you're in the world and these are actual people saying that to you because that is indeed how they feel about you and your opinion. They have been conditioned to think this way. Again, we kid ourselves if we tell ourselves anything but that. If you have views that oppose their views, then you are automatically a bigot. And if you are a bigot, then you are an inferior life form. You're a cockroach, a parasite. She applies this logic even to her own father, which is no surprise given the third point. And the third is that the family is an oppressive patriarchal conspiracy. And your parents and all of your ancestors going back through the generations are ignorant, backwards, Cro-Magnon cave dwellers. The left's goal, as always, is to break apart not just the nuclear family in the abstract as a sort of concept, but to dismantle your actual family. It's not the family that is being threatened. I mean, it is the family on a broad societal level, but what you have to understand, it's also your family, your actual family. They want to pull your children away from you. sever the ties that bind you together. They would like for us all to be eulogized by our children in this way. That's what the constant campaign of brainwashing is working towards. And where it leads ultimately is to misery, of course, for everybody involved. Because whatever else you might say about this young woman, and you could say quite a lot about her, much of it not fit to air, but one thing you cannot say is that she's happy. This is a wretched, miserable person trained to reject everything that might threaten to imbue her life with meaning and joy. Because that's the thing, when you want to be the center of the universe, and when you hate everyone who disagrees with you, and when you hate your own family, and you hate your own bloodline, that's just another way of saying that you hate yourself. You hate your own existence. You hate existence itself. Because you wouldn't exist without any of that. This is the nature of the world. There is, in fact, only one universe, and you're not at the center of it. This is the only universe we have. And so if you can't accept that, then you hate existence for what it is. And that's why we must protect our children from this madness, so that we don't have them dancing on our graves once we have passed on, and so that they can live a better life than the one that our culture wants to give them. And that'll do it for this portion of the show. As we move over to the members block, hope to see you there. If not, talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed.